What's good, everybody? Thank you all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. We are here today to talk about The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 7, Episode 5, and the name of the episode is called Miami Goddesses. This show needs to be on Sunday night. Within the last couple of months, we had Atlanta, Potomac, and Married to Medicine, and there was overlap between the three. And some way Miami should have been pushed there because now when Atlanta go off, we don't have nothing to watch on Sundays anymore.
Oh my God.
So I do think that The Real Housewives Miami ought to be pushed on Sunday night. The episode started off with Alexia. Alexia is meeting up with Daniel. Daniel is an Instagram self-help expert or a life coach. She said that she ended up meeting him on IG or finding him on IG. She said that she was listening to a lot of life coaches who were women, but for some reason, Daniel resonated with her because he's a man and it's a different perspective.
Yeah, okay.
Girl, whatever. I feel like that he resonated with you because you value more what a man say. But she strikes me as that type of person, right? She strikes me as a feminine, male-identifying woman. So I'm not surprised. She basically said that she was having an emotional roller coaster. 1 minute she wants to be with Todd, the next minute she don't want to be with Todd. But to be honest, I really feel like that she want to be with Todd. And when she said that she didn't want to be with Todd, she was put known because she had so many people at the table around her. But she really wants to be with Todd. She didn't really mean that she wanted the girls to help her and stuff like that. Because if she did, she would still be telling them to help her. She really wants to be with him mistreating her kids and all. Todd tells her, he did give her some good advice, I must say. He said, you have to listen to your gut because one red flag can turn into 10 red flags and you will have lost who you are.
Are you okay? Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing when you're in a relationship is you should be able to identify what is a red flag and what is compromising, because they can kind of look like the same thing, but in my head, I have red flags over anything though. Even I feel like sometimes when we compromising a little bit, it's almost like a red flag because just feel like we're not gonna compromise this time, but I'm not gonna be doing this too much now. I feel like you have to know the difference between the two. So then she tells him that she wants to throw we found out that she's throwing a Greek-themed narcissist party and she wants to share Daniel with the rest of the women. So we'll see how that turns out. Next, we got Lisa. So Lisa says that Lenny is supposed to be building a home according to their MSA, which is a marital settlement agreement. I've never heard of that before. I would not trust my ex to build me shit. I wouldn't trust my ex to build me a goddamn thing.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Cash me out. Cash me out. What do I say? Cash, bitch, give me cash.
Here you go. Take that and cash it.
Give me
now, why
cash.
You tell
I gave him cash.
Or I'll buy it myself. Like, give me the cash because I'll buy it myself, because I feel like if somebody is building something for me that I'm divorcing, he's not going to be building it to my standards. He's probably just going to throw something together. It's probably going to be all type of problems going on with the house. He really don't want to build it for me anyway. It was supposed to be for me and him. Now he ain't anymore. He don't really care how it's going. Just cash me out and I'll go buy it by myself, or I'll build it myself. Just cash me out, Your Honor. Tell him to cash me out. She was trying to tell us what the agreement said that he was supposed to do in the confessional, and she didn't even know what it said. Jody had to stop her and tell her what to say, but she never really finished telling us what he was supposed to be doing with the house. So I guess in this case, Larsa is right, but I still stand on what Larsa is right about Jody knowing all of her business, but that's still none of Larsa's business, and it has nothing to do with why Lisa and Larsa are beefing. Then Lisa is saying that Joey never did anything to Larsa. I believe that he did. I do think that he said something to Larsa because Larsa was insinuating that he was broke and that Marcus really didn't want to have him around. That I believe that she didn't say that he was cheap. She didn't say that he was broke. She said that Marcus said that he was cheap and that he was only around Marcus for his social status. And Larsa was kind of like taking digs at him. And I do believe that he had said something when he got mad at Lisa. He probably got mad at them both together. And I do believe that he said something to Larsa. Lisa says in the confession that Larsa has diarrhea of the mouth.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Diarrhea of the mouth means that a person can't hold water. Kind of like something happened and they told it. So I think that was the wrong analogy to use. Because you're saying that Larsa can't hold water as if the thing with Larsa and Jody was supposed to be a secret. That's the wrong analogy to use. That doesn't mean that she lied. That means that it was something that happened and it was supposed to be a secret, and she telling stuff that was supposed to be held in. Next, we got Stephanie. Last week, we was talking in the comments, and we was talking about Stephanie, and I was telling somebody, y'all let me know if y'all see it. When I see Stephanie, I see Ricki Lake in Hairspray. I do. I mean, a better dressed version, I guess, but she does kind of give me Ricki Lake in Hairspray. She's ended up meeting up with Larsa and Kiki. She said that her parents called her 100 times a day.
Too much.
She took her parents on her honeymoon. Kiki shares with Larsa and Stephanie that she has a 4-year-old little brother. I am reading, I finally started reading Tina Knowles' book, Matriarch. I believe it's called Matriarch. And Tina Knowles has nieces and nephews that are older than her. And when we talked about it with Kiki last year, I was like, ooh, that's ghetto. But I guess that it's not ghetto. I guess back in the day, people didn't really have abortions like that or didn't have the option. Tina said that her parents probably thought that they were through having kids when they had her, but she said that she figured that her mother probably said God will handle it and God will provide a way. And they did, and now we got Beyonce.
Come on, give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up.
They ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just for me to say that, maybe I spoke too soon and what Kiki Daddy did wasn't, but is Kiki Daddy married? You having kids with your wife is one thing. You just having these kids all everywhere. You got a 4-year-old child, though. That's something else. And he talking about that he want to have some more. It is a little, I take it back. It is ghetto. We found out more about Stephanie. We found out that Stephanie has twin sisters. She said that she ended up hiring her twin sisters to work with her. It didn't work out well, and she ended up having to let them go. And she haven't spoken to them in 4 years. She said that she tried to fix their relationship, but they just don't talk to her. She said that she gave one of her sisters a Range Rover, and she gave the other one a Mini Cooper.
See, that's a dirty ass bitch right there.
I do not like when people get on this show and they get to telling what they did for their family members. I would never do that to my siblings or my mama. I just don't think that that's nobody's business. If you're going to do it, and don't talk about it again. Now, if you're talking about it with your family, that's one thing, but to say it in front of these TV cameras and stuff like that, I don't like that. That ain't nobody's business. She said that she still called them. She said that she texted them, she emailed them, she sent them gifts. She said that she knows that they didn't like the way that she talked. And I do think this, and we hear it all the time, that we hear like a celebrity is rude and somebody tries to always say, oh, I was working for this person, they was rude and they was this and they was that. Everybody, when it's crunch time and we trying to get stuff done and we working on projects and we got deadlines that we got to meet, everyone is not going to talk to you nice. We even heard Tina Knowles say, even on, I don't know why. This is my second time bringing up Tina in this review. But we even heard Tina when she was on the Jennifer Hudson show say that Beyonce can be nasty when she backstage. But it's crunch time. I got to get back out here. I got to put on a new outfit. I got to dress, give me some water. I don't got time to be worried about little bitty stuff. I got to go out here, make sure I hit my notes, make sure I remember my dance numbers. I need stuff in order so I can get back out here and continue and give these people their show, because the tickets are arm and leg, and I want people to have their money's worth. But that doesn't mean that a person is going to, when I say that they can be rude, it doesn't mean that a person should be calling you bitches and hoes.
That's wrong.
It just means that the tensions are high, and what I'm saying to you may come off rude, and I don't mean any disrespect, but it's crunch time. Tensions are high. We got to make deadlines, and it's crunch time. And I do think that people should understand the difference. All of this, oh, you can't talk to me no any kind of way. Grow up. Grow up. Then they get to talking about Lisa saying at the baby shower that she wanted to be friends with Stephanie because she had a private jet. They said that it was very superficial of her. It is very superficial of her. And Lisa, this episode with you, Lisa, I think I gave you a pass when I started watching the season 5, but this episode right here showed your true colors for me. I don't think I really like her. A hurricane is supposed to be coming to Miami. Okay, they showed some of the ladies preparing for the hurricane, and then they showed after the hurricane was supposed to come. Apparently, the hurricane passed over Miami, so it didn't affect them at all. Next, we got Gertie meeting up with Alexia. Gertie says that she feels misunderstood within the group. Now, I will say this about Gertie.
I've been quiet for too long. No, I'm not going
Gertie talks a lot. She overtalks. She talks you and cuts you off when you talking. but she still doesn't deserve what happened to her at Marysol's wedding party. And now we get a flashback at Marysol's wedding party, and it seems like that it was Gertie versus everyone.
Don't you guys, I said it.
I knew I wasn't crazy because I don't feel like the girls really had Gertie back. And again, you didn't really have to have her back, but somebody should have stopped Julia when she was lunging at the table and acting like a hyena. Somebody should have stopped her. She was out of line.
She's out of line. When do you tell your wife she's out of line?
Gertie was arguing with Julia. She was arguing with Larsa. She was arguing with Alexia, and she was arguing with Marysol. And she said that she thought that she was ganged up on, and that is why I feel like that Julia felt comfortable doing what she did. She ends up expressing to Alexia that when they was texting about the baby shower, she said that she was going to the New York Stock Exchange to ring the bell, and nobody congratulated her. And they almost had an argument right then and there because she feels like that she's not supported within the group. But Alexia was like, well, those are your feelings. And she was like, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. And, they almost got into it right then and there. And what I like about Alexia is, girl, she not about to backpedal. She ain't about to backpedal. But she was like, girl, I feel like that Alexia was like, girl, we got to make this scene, girl. Let you make it this time. Because I feel like they was about to, it almost started getting a little rocky. I could tell by Alexia's face, like, dude, girl, you don't even know. Alexia suggests that Gertie should talk to that Alexia should talk to Julia and they should have a heart-to-heart. Gertie says that Julia needs to take accountability. And speaking of accountability, this was a great segue for Alexia to tell Gertie about the Greek themed narcissist party. Gertie seems to be excited about it. Next, we got Kiki, and I got a new nephew, Shamar. Shamar and Summer, I don't know if I said that before. Shamar and Summer are my new nephews and nieces. I got a whole bunch of nephews and nieces. It's so funny because I be having all these nephews and nieces, and I don't get along with their mamas. But that's how it happened in real life, right? When you and your sibling don't get along, you're not gonna let that stop you from being a good uncle to your nieces and nephews. Because I don't like Shamia at all. But Shala and Shiloh are my nieces. So we got Shamar is home from college. So we got Shamar and Neri. Shamar is studying psychology. I don't think they told us what school he was going to, but we did find out that he was 18, getting ready to turn 19 years old. So he makes jokes about joining the organization and getting hazed. And, Kiki don't know what being hazed means. And so we're not going to even get into the whole hazing thing because his friend was like, that's when you join the organization and they kind of bully you. I done been to so many NPHC. Look, child. I don't want to do that because I don't want to offend the Greek. Larsa end up coming. The thing is, Larsa seems so cool and laid back, but sometimes with Larsa, she seems so self-centered. But she does give Kiki good advice about dealing with her dad. Kiki really wants her dad to reach out to Shamar for his birthday. She said that her dad is like a typical Haitian. He feels like that the child ought to reach out to him because he's older.
What?
And I think that I have that similar relationship with my granddad. It's really crazy because I don't think that's just is something specific to Haitians. I just think that that's with people in general. I think it's crazy because that you have grandchildren, and at a certain point, your grandchildren were not adults; they were children. And so they weren't able to pick up the phone and contact you. So if you wanted to be in a life, you should have been reaching out when they were children because you knew that they were here, right? My grandfather knew that we were here. My dad was in jail. He didn't really have a relationship with my dad like that, if I'm being honest with you. And so I don't know what type of, some would think that my grandfather with my dad going to jail for as long as he did, that he would have stepped in, but no, he did. He didn't, and that's just the truth. But I don't know how you expect a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, 10-year-old to reach out to you and call to you. So I think that a person not having a relationship with their grandfather is on the grandparents' part if the grandparents knew that these grandchildren existed. Kiki daddy can't tell me that he didn't know that Kiki, or he didn't hear through the grapevine that his daughter had a son out there. And even if he wasn't talking to her, he could have. That was a great way to bridge the gap, or is that the word I'm using for bridge the gap, or make amends with your daughter so you can have a relationship with your grandson. And I'm sure she would have been open to that. But it is kind of tricky when that grandchild gets older. For me, I feel like, my grandfather had ended up remarrying, and he had a wife and other kids and grandkids, right? So he has he has children with his wife that he raised, and he did not raise my dad. And so I believe that those children probably take priority over him. Like, my daddy's not a killer because this is my dad's dad, but he is like an outside child. Now, he also has 2 other children from another woman as well, but he also raised those kids. He did not raise my dad. So it's kind of tricky because it's like, for me specifically, I can't speak for my other siblings. It's like, I don't want to seem like I'm overstepping because you did remarry, you got these other kids, you got these other grandkids, and I don't know how they feel about me reaching out. They're probably looking at it like I want something. I don't really want nothing. I just, we can call each other for happy birthdays, happy Father's Day, happy Veterans Day. He's a veteran. Happy Veterans Day. Go get breakfast here and there. You know what I'm saying? Go to a baseball game. Go out to eat or something like that. It doesn't have to. I don't want anything, but I do want to know more about my family. And so I feel like if I done reached out a couple of times and you ain't reaching out to me, then you don't want to be bothered. That's just how I feel. I do feel like Larsa gave Kiki great sound advice. Kiki ended up calling her dad. She expressed to her dad how much she wanted him to call Shamar for his birthday. The dad said that he will call. Now, Mr. Kiki Daddy, I forgot Mr. Kiki Daddy name. Don't make me get on no plane to Haiti and fuck some shit up about my nephew now. You can call him for his birthday now. You better make sure you call him for his birthday. Next, we got Stephanie and Masood. Stephanie says that she's an old soul in her relationship. Masood does seem like fun. I believe she said that last episode he was 26. He's either 24 or 26 years older than her. But he does seem like fun. She said they're a power couple. I will say this, though. From all of the housewives that we've seen, they do seem like a power couple. I am interested in how, the Real Housewives franchise fans can be a little toxic. I wonder how this will affect their business. Because right now they do seem like a power couple. They on in GQ magazine and everything else. She said there is no balance. She said they try not to bring the work into personal. They try to not bring their work lives into their personal lives, but it does come sometime. But she said they never bring their personal lives to work. Ever. Never, ever. She said the Masood love animals. So when the hurricane was getting ready to come, there was 2 dogs that were abandoned in the building. Masood had them put into one of the units, and the unit was supposed to be a unit with no furniture in it. They end up going into one of the units, and I'm guessing that this is supposed to be a surprise that Masood wanted to adopt the dogs because he ended up naming the dogs Helen and Milton. So I'm assuming that they're going to keep the dogs. Baby, those dogs pissed and shit on one of them beds up in their hotel.
Wow. That's nasty.
I mean, up in that condo. What is that, a condo building? I don't know. The dog pissed and shit in one of the beds in there. I used to work at a building. Y'all know I used to do concierge at a building, and it was it was supposed to be a no dog building, but in California, people always, I got a service animal, it's a service animal. So people can listen. You can do anything when you got money. So people used to go around it with the whole service animal thing, but I don't. My thing is everybody. I don't want to live in. I don't want nobody with no dogs around me.
I don't give a fuck what y'all saying. I don't give a fuck what y'all saying at all.
I'm sorry. People people be having their dogs all out on the balcony. When they get tired of the dogs, they put the dog outside and the dog get barked. Go, come get your dog. I'm just thinking about those 2 big old dogs. They weren't barking or nothing, though. They was just jumping on her. They don't, they was real quiet. But, them was some big old dogs. Stephanie tells Masood that her sisters ended up calling her parents. And she said that her sisters ended up checking on her to see if she was okay. She said that she replied and tried to catch up with her sisters, and they left her on red. It was like radio silence. They didn't even reply. They probably was trying to see if they was left in her will or not. They was probably hoping that something happened to her, and they were trying to see if they was left in the will.
Mia?
Now, I'm trying to understand, I be having more questions. So I'm trying to understand if the sisters are beefed up with the parents as well. She wasn't really clear on that because she said that she talked to her parents every day, and it's kind of hard for me to believe that she has a relationship with the parents and the sisters have a relationship with the parents, and the parents wasn't able to rectify what was going on between those 2, between all of the siblings or their kids, right? What kind of parents are them? What kind of parents are that? My mama wouldn't be having it. Stephanie, mom and daddy probably bought and paid for. That's, some parents be like that. Next, we get Julia and Gertie. They ended up meeting up. Julia is real apologetic. I must say, Julia, I got my good eye on you because you full of shit. But I will say this, I do believe your apology. I honestly do not think that this is who Julia is. I think that she was trying to show out and be part of the Mean Girls clique when she threw that water on Gertie. And she said that that's not who she was, and she apologizes. She apologizes again. I get that Julia is sorry for what she did, but I think that Julia ought to be reprimanded. I ended up watching a little bit of Watch What Happens Live last night, and Andy and Stephanie, and even some interviews with some of the castmates from Twitter, and they're trying to gloss over what Julia did, which is assaulting Gertie with a drink, and trying to compare the facelift comment with Julia throwing a drink on Gertie.
We're not going to do that. We're definitely not going to do that.
First of all, Julia threw the drink on Gertie before she said anything about the facelift. And I can guarantee you that if Gertie would have thrown the drink on one of these other women on this show outside of Kiki, we would not hear the end of it. It's a bias. If one of the black girls, if Bowles had got into it with one of the girls on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and if she and Garcelle had got into an argument with Kyle and Dorit Sutton, and they ended up throwing a drink on them, it would be outrage. They would be all kind of ghetto bitches. And that's just the truth. Now, if they threw a drink on Erica Jane, Erica Nene Blanco, baby, probably would have been a fight.
Ma'am.
But if they would have thrown a drink on anybody else, it would be outrage, and they would be called all kind of ghetto bitches. And so I feel like that Julia ought to be reprimanded. She's ghetto, she's low class, the lowest of the low. I do, and I'm standing on that.
I stand on it. I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it.
I do. When they was throwing drinks on Love and Hip Hop, it was ghetto, but Julia should do it, and everybody's insinuating, and especially Stephanie on Watch What Happens Live, was that Gertie hold grudges and she should let it go. Girl, fuck that. If that bitch would have thrown a drink on me, I would have talked about that bitch so bad she would have left the table. The facelift would have been the last. Girl, I would have talked about her up under the table. I would have been going so low, people would have got up from the table and left the party the way I would have talked about her and Martina around them.
Oh, please, darling, cool it down.
Julia is saying that the facelift was threw back at her. What kind of friend are you? And Gertie lets her know, girl, I was hurt as well. Julia asked her if she was remorseful about insinuating that she was a bad wife. And she was like, I didn't insinuate that. I said that you went on a cruise without her, and you did go on a cruise without her. And she said, but I do apologize. Gertie apologized. Gertie said that, when we was getting into it, I asked you to stop and you wouldn't. And she wasn't, because she was showing out in front of the mean girl. Now, from the exchange, I do think that Julia was apologetic. But again, we are not going to compare what Gertie said after she was assaulted with a drink to what Julia did beforehand. Because what Gertie did after the drink was thrown on her was due to the drink being thrown on her. Next, we're at Villa Toscano. It looks really, really nice. Okay, Alexia meets Daniel there. And it looks really, really nice. I love stuff like this. It's giving money. I love it. Alexia says that the girl think that the party is about Todd, but the party is about everybody. It's not about Todd. So the girls get on a Sprinter. They're going to be in a Sprinter van going to meet Daniel and Alexia at the villa. So we see Marysol. She's the first one to arrive. It's 12 o'clock noon. Marysol. Now, she is the goddess of cockies. Then Larsa shows up. She's the goddess of selfies. We got Kiki. She's the goddess of male anatomy. And when Kiki shows up, Larsa asks her about what happened for Shamar's birthday. And she says that her dad did end up calling Shamar for his birthday, so that's good. I guess I could put my passport down. Then we got Gertie. Gertie is the goddess of gab. And baby, Gertie, you deserve that, mama, because you are a talker. Stephanie is the goddess of punctuality. Julia is the goddess of tossing drinks. Julia, no, she's not the goddess of throwing drinks. Julia is the goddess of threesomes. No, she's not a goddess of threesomes. Julia is the goddess of bulldaggery. No, she's not the goddess of bulldaggery. Julia is the goddess of kisses. Then we got Adriana. She's the goddess of purity. Then we got Alexia. She's the goddess of stars. So now it's 12:30. Lisa hadn't showed up. Marysol tries to call her. She didn't answer the phone. Baby, I couldn't take it. I wouldn't be able to. At 12:30, I'm getting ready to leave. At 12:30, because again, Marysol is the first one there. Marysol was there at 12. And so we don't know what time, again, when we doing stuff like this, we got to be able to tell what time the other girls got in. Because for all we know, Adriana was the last one that showed up, and she showed up at 12:29. So we just can't get ready to go because it seems like everybody was late. Because truthfully, Marysol said finally when Larsa showed up, and Larsa was the second person that was there. So for all we know, everybody showed up. Larsa could have showed up at 12:25. So we don't know. It seems like everybody was late except for Marysol. But for me, I guess if we was there together once Adriana arrived, 30 minutes after Adriana arrived, and girl wasn't there, I'm pushing 30 minutes, probably 15 minutes after she arrives, I would have left. I would have told them to move the bus, or I would have went and got in my car and drove to the villa, or I just wouldn't have been filming for the rest of the day. I'm not waiting on nobody. I'm not waiting on nobody like that. Now it's 1:30. Lisa is not there. Lisa has not showed up. This is an hour after Adriana showed up. It's 1:30. 1:45. She's not there. 2 o'clock. She's not there. And so the girls on the things like, baby, this is rude and disrespectful. Stephanie says that she got 2 pet peeves, and that's talking about dicks and late people. They say that she's in the wrong group, and then we get a flashback of all the women talking about dicks. Girl, you need to loosen up, Stephanie. Girl, you don't want to talk about dicks?
Girl, stop.
So then 2 hours later, Lisa shows up. Lisa shows up at 2:30, okay? And she's the goddess of tardiness. Now check this out. Throughout the episode, Daniel and Alexia, they was walking around the villa, and there were messages on mirrors. Now, one of the mirrors said, nobody gets more angrier than a narcissist being accused of something that they did. I guess Lisa got on the bus or got on the sprinter as if she was going to get like this grand welcome, and nobody said anything. So Stephanie said, girl, do you think your time is more important than everyone else's? Or do you think that you're more valuable than everybody else? Are we supposed to celebrate your interests? And so Lisa was like, no. And she was like, well, do you know how rude it is to make everyone wait? Lisa says, I don't even know you that well for you to be speaking to me like that.
You're right darn now.
And I don't know you that well to be waiting for you for 2 hours either. And she said, I know you enough to know that we just waited 2 hours for you. Like it's a grand entrance for Lisa. Lisa says that Stephanie is being rude. And she said, should I say thank you for showing up? That's the point. I'm being rude, girl. I'm being rude because you was rude, so I'm matching your energy. Lisa and Stephanie goes back and forth, like, don't talk to me like that again. And she was like, don't be late 2 hours and make us wait. Lisa goes to say, and see, Stephanie don't got that in her. Stephanie don't got her in her, girl, because I would have ate Lisa up, baby. Lisa said, I don't know you to be talking to me like that. And I heard you don't have any friends. I would have said, yes, bitch, but you wanted to be one of my friends because I had a private jet, remember? Yeah, you wanted to be my friend. I don't got none, but you wanted to be one, don't you? She said, I don't have a lot of them because they are late and disrespectful like you. So Lisa goes to say, girl, don't put your hands in my face or tell me what I need to discuss with my friend. It seems like now Lisa is just looking for a reason to be the victim in this situation. And I don't want to trigger some of y'all, but to say that Stephanie had her hand in her face is equivalent to Portia saying that Kenya had that bullhorn in her face.
Dumb and dumber. No.
In both situations, there is a whole person sitting between them, and Stephanie's hand did not even go past Marysol's body. The same way the bullhorn never went past Cynthia's body. It was like past her nose, but it didn't even go past the other part of her body. Girl, you just reaching. Stephanie says, all your friends think you're rude. Lisa says, I think that you're rude and you don't need to be their mouthpiece. And so Larsa jumps in, and Larsa says, girl, we've been waiting here since 12. And so then she tells Larsa, we aren't talking right now.
I will not. Will you get out? You want somebody?
We aren't talking right now. Girl, fuck you. I don't give a fuck if we talking or not, bitch. We've been waiting here for 2 hours for your ass. And so then Stephanie started trying to apologize to Lisa, and Lisa said, don't lecture me. Girl, fuck you. Do you want an apology or not? And she was like, well, it's a backhanded apology. Girl, look. Girl, fuck you. And this is another thing for me. I'm not apologizing for nothing.
I'm never going to apologize. Never going to apologize, comma. Never going to apologize, comma. Never going to apologize, semicolon. Never going to apologize, explanation point. It's not going to happen.
You talking about somebody that would have stood on business? You talking about somebody would have stood on business? I would have ate Lisa up. And girl, please. I wouldn't give a fuck if she came to any more events or not. Girl, 2 hours it was actually 2 hours and 30 minutes because I believe they were supposed to be there at 12. For her to show up at 2:30 is crazy. For her to show up at 2:30 is crazy. Shit, y'all be lucky if I didn't jump. Girl, please. I've been waiting for 2 hours and she got on this bus and sitting up here trying to go back and forth with me and trying to pick a fight with me.
And bitch, who? Who?
Yeah, y'all be lucky I wouldn't put my foot in that hole's ass. Y'all, that was an episode. It was a good episode. It was a to be continued episode. So, you know, Alexia don't give me, she the type of girl that, because they're, whatever time they were supposed to be there, they 2 hours and 30 minutes late now because of Lisa. And Alexia don't give me that type of girl that's gonna take that too kindly. So we'll see. But y'all, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think that Stephanie overreacted? Would y'all have waited for Lisa for 2 hours and 30 minutes? You know, I'm being honest with you right now. I probably would have got in my car and left. Ain't no way I would have waited for her for 2 hours and 30 minutes. But that's me. But thank y'all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate the love and support, and I'll see y'all later. Adios.
Call Daddy, tell him 25. Call Daddy, tell him 25.